Why has your 1RM generally been about the same weight for the past 5 or 6 years? So you might be saying to yourself, yo, Six, my 1RM hasn't been the same for the past 5 or 6 years. I've been seeing noticeable changes throughout the past 3 to 5 years. Okay, motherfucker, I ain't talking to you then. We're talking to the people who have in fact had the same back squat for the last 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Well, if in fact your back squat has been generally hovering around the same numbers for the past couple years, it's probably because you've never actually dedicated yourself to a true strength cycle. Yeah, you may have started doing CrossFit or some sort of functionally fit program where it's like Metcons, heavy weights, and you may have started out squatting 225 or 250, and then you saw that initial bump to 275 or 305 or somewhere around there. But chances are you've stayed within that gap for the last 5 years, or however long you've been doing CrossFit, or however long you've been doing Metcons. I can pretty much guarantee you 9 times out of 10 that you've been lifting the same weights for the majority of the time you've been doing CrossFit. Yet, you wish deep down inside that you were in fact squatting 450, 445, 435. These are in fact weights that you want to lift. The only problem is your training sessions aren't aligning with those goals. Because the fact of the matter is, you'll never back squat 500 pounds if your 1RM percentages that you're working off of have been the same for the past 3 years. So today's only a 6x2 at 340. These days are much greatly appreciated by whoever programmed this, because like I said, most back squat programs I've done, it's literally balls to the wall the entire week, and you like get very little breathing room. But for the fact that there's multiple days throughout the training session where you're like doing a 6x2, where you're doing 2 reps 6 times, and it's a moderate weight. For me, 340 is pretty light, but it's heavy enough for me to still get the stimulus from lifting heavy. And so it's really perfect. And I'll put this week's schedule up again right here just so you guys can see. But if you guys see for Friday, the weight bumps back up to, I believe, 360 for, I want to say I have to actually look at it, but you see it on the screen right now. It probably says like a 5x5 or a 6x6. That is in fact really challenging for me to be able to do 360 for a 5x5 or a 6x6. But also consider the fact that you have the rest of Friday to get some recovery in. You have the whole day Saturday to get full-time recovery in, and then you also have Sunday to get full-time recovery in too. So it allows you enough time to get some walking in, to get some calisthenics in, to flush out some of that lactic acid, to give your central nervous system an adequate amount of time to recover. I'm telling you, man, this program, I recommend that anyone try it. It's only 6 weeks. You kind of really have nothing to lose. If you look at the forecasted rep schemes and weights, you'll probably gain at least 20 pounds in your 1 rep max just from doing this for 6 weeks. And so just imagine, your 1 rep max right now, let's say 405, and then you undergo this 6-week program, which is pretty short. So it's only a month and a half, right? And then, a month and a half from now, can you imagine, instead of squatting 405, you're now squatting 425 or 435, somewhere around there. That's pretty good, man. I always recommend, if anyone is seriously looking at gaining or seeing a lot of strength increase in your back squat and in your pull and in your presses, that you have to focus on it primarily for a small amount of time, even 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You have to literally just stop doing your Metcons or your metabolic conditioning sessions or whatever you want to call it, and literally just come in and focus only on strength. That way you can push the boundaries of the weights that you're lifting. You can stay true to your 1 rep max percentages and you're no longer coming in like you probably typically do now, and when it says 85% for a 5x5, you really only put 75 or 65 or basically whatever weight you just feel like you want to put on. Adhering to a dedicated strength program keeps you accountable every single day you come in to do your training session to push the boundaries and stay consistent in your technique in the squat or the pull or the press. And it stops you from hamstringing your strength workout because you look at the workout of the day or the Metcon of the day and you start kind of peering back or scaling back the weights that you're doing for the strength session for the day because you kind of want to save some energy for the WOD. You might be saying to yourself, yo, Six, we do strength cycles. It's the thing that we do prior to the Metcon. That's not a strength cycle. The strength portion of the workout that you do when you go into a CrossFit affiliate, just like here, is not enough for you to see tangible gains in your strength over time. What those strength sessions are designed to do is they are designed to maintain the strength you already have. Now, you might see a little bump in your strength when you first start doing CrossFit, and that's natural. So you might come in and your back squat might be 250. 6 months later, if you do these workouts at a typical CrossFit affiliate, 6 months to a year later, your back squat might be 275. Your back squat might be 285. Your back squat might even be 295. But once you see that just initial bump in your general strength, I guarantee you probably 9 times out of 10 that it stayed around 285, 295, 305. I guarantee you it stayed around there for the past couple years and kind of hovered around those same numbers. Keep in mind, if it's not 305, just apply whatever numbers and just plug them into your specific level of strength, right? So, I mean, if it's not 305, then your numbers have probably hovered around 325, maybe even 365. And you've never been able to really surpass 365, 375. Now, it would be nice for you to back squat 425 for reps, maybe even 405 for like a max set of 5. That would be awesome, right? Now, the problem is, in order to get to those plus 400 for rep squats, it's going to take more than just doing a strength program right before the Metcon at your typical CrossFit affiliate. It's going to take about a 6 or 8 week block where you're doing nothing but back squats. And your primary focus is literally just back squats. Back squats, mobility, flexibility, maybe just a Metcon just to loosen up, but just generally speaking, we're talking about dedicating 6 to 8 weeks purely to just back squatting. I don't think that this squat program is out of reach for just the average person out there, maybe even older like myself, looking to really see some tangible strength gains in your squat, in your pull, and in your press. I'll link the website down below. It's an updated website, an update from the last video I did talking about the same exact program, but I think that they moved the same program into another website. Like I said, I'll link the program down below. It's an awesome program so far. I'm in my 4th week and I love it, man. It progressively overloads you realistically for just, like I said, just an average person looking to get some tangible strength gains, man, some realistic strength gains. It's not over the top. I've done squat programs before where they're considered high risk, and for most people, it's too much volume. The last program that I was on was literally like a 5x5 every single day of the week for like 6 days a week. It tapered, the weight kind of went down and it went up, but it wasn't that much. Every day was a struggle. Every day I came in to do my squats, it was tough. I do realize that strength in order to see some significant strength gains, it's going to be tough, right? But when I was on that older squat program, I was being suffocated. You know what I mean? Like, I had zero breathing room. Every day of the week, I was being pushed to the max. And for me, I'm just speaking on a personal level, it was too much volume for my body to handle. And eventually on week 6, I ended up sustaining a minor back injury, which set me back, I would say, a good 6 months, because I'm really just now getting back into the swing of things. And when I found this program, I took a look at it, and I was looking at it with, hindsight being 2020. And I was looking at it with the intent of specifically looking at how they tapered and deloaded. And not just talking about like throughout the weeks and after the program's over. I'm talking about like during the week. What does the rest period look like during the week? Are they going to be giving the athlete enough time to recover from the heavy lifting throughout the week? And this program does that, man. It does that. I've checked out the entire 6-week program, and I love it. For example, I'll post up exactly what I'm supposed to be doing this week. Today's Wednesday, and so this is the second squat day of the week. You only squat 3 times a week. First of all, that's my favorite part about this squat program, is you're really only squatting 3 times a week. That, for me, seemed a lot more tangible than squatting 6 times a week. That seemed a little more ridiculous especially for my body. I'm a little bit older. I'm 43 years old. I always say that on this channel, just to make sure that just in the event that you are also 42, 43, 44, somewhere around there, you can look at some of the workouts that I'm doing and some of the weights that I'm pushing, and you can kind of make some compare and contrast with what you're doing. Keep in mind that when you guys see me squatting 405, 415, 425 for reps, keep in mind that took years for me to get there. It took years for me to build up to that. And so if you are, once again, if you are in fact 42, 43, 44, somewhere around that age bracket, and you're looking at me like it seems untangible that you can get over 400 for reps, just know that it takes a good amount of time and a good amount of consistency in lifting heavy weights to be able to get there. I'm not saying that I'm the strongest motherfucker you'll ever meet on YouTube. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that squatting 425 for reps, that's not average. That is considered above average. Even for a 1 rep max, that's considered above average. Wouldn't it be cool just to load up 405, let's say, on the barbell, right? 4 plates, just put 4 plates on, and you just casually unrack it. No breathing heavy, no hyperventilating, no pounding your chest before you go to unrack it, no loud yell, war chant, battle shout prior to the unracking of the 405. Just casually unrack it, hit it for a double real quick, because it's literally just a stepping stone to something heavier in the training session that you're doing for that day. And, just re-rack it, right? Because we're going to end up putting more weight, more than 405, but 405, this is just a weight that I'm hitting as part of my warm-up, because I'm planning to do like a workout with 455 or something like that. Now keep in mind, guys, look, I know 405 is a weight that some of you are probably watching right now. And it is, in fact, one of those weights that you're hitting in a warm-up. In fact, how much work it took for you to get to the point to where 405 was a part of your warm-up. And you can appreciate someone else who has also attained that level of strength or whatever, right? Because when I see other people on IG or on YouTube and they're squatting 385 or 395 or 405, and they're doing it for reps, I'm like, how much work that dude put in. Granted, there are some people who are just naturally that strong, but for just generally, most people have to work to be able to squat over 400 pounds, right? And that's all I'm trying to get you guys to understand and maybe even do, or a goal you could even reach for yourself if that is in fact a goal that you've been trying to attain for the past couple years. And you maybe have wondered why my squat has been stuck at 365 for the past 5 years. And you may be even telling yourself, like, I'm doing the skill and the strength portion of my CrossFit sessions. I'm not skipping any of those. How come, why can't I back squat more than 385 or 375 or 395, whatever back squat, wherever your back squat is right now? Why can't you back squat more than that? And why have you been back squatting that same weight for the past 5 years? It doesn't make any sense.